One's ready. One's ready. Go! So you guys are going into Special Warfare Assessment Selection. It is an attributes-based selection model. What does that mean?
Guys, are we running right now to get fitter? Are we practicing running? Practicing.
I can't freaking...
So there's a holistic picture that we're looking for. The instructors are giving you input, and we're expecting an output. And everything is for a reason. If you guys haven't heard my spiel yet, everything that we do, every single exercise, has a connection to the job that you're trying to do. We don't want people at INDOC, Special Warfare Assessment Selection, whatever they're gonna call the new course when it inevitably changes somewhere down the road. I don't care what they call it. What I need is you to show me the raw materials for the things that I wanna build you into. Just like everything else, it's a crawl, walk, run.
I can run a keystone just like this. All the way to ATC, you never quit. All the way to ATC, you never quit.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the One's Ready podcast. You're in the team room. This is your daily drop for the 30th and 31st of July. Sorry we missed you yesterday. I just got swamped. So I have taken out some of the irrelevant things from yesterday's news just because they were double tapped with today's news. You guys are well aware that that's how it happens. But before we get into that, you guys know that we still have slots available in the Operator Training Summit that's happening in Nashville this October. In order to get details for that on how to sign up and everything like that, hit me at jared@onesready.com and we'll get you some details. This is a instructorship and mentorship event for you guys, just to make sure you are better prepared for the pipeline or just trying to get in shape in general. But we'll definitely get you comfortable and efficient in the pool. All right, over to the news. And let's see, we're going to start with Pentagon seeks funding reallocation. The DoD is requesting a $5.4 billion shift in funding priority, precision strike weapons funding to prioritize precision strike weapons, space systems, and related programs. This reallocation supports emerging priorities in missile defense and satellite technologies. The move reflects adjustments to fiscal year budgets amid evolving threats. Man, those are big boy numbers right there, 5.4 billion. All right, next, Defense Secretary shifts budget priorities. The DoD Secretary, Pete Hegseth, has redirected funding towards the B-21 stealth bomber and 6th generation F-47 fighter programs, cutting existing initiatives to fund these. These include reductions in F-35 production to allocate resources for advanced aircraft development. These changes aim to modernize air capabilities in response to global security needs. Now, I've seen this go back and forth, like, hey, we're going to ramp up. The numbers for B-21 and F-47 have never dropped since the announcement. But I have seen F-35 go back and forth. Hey, we're going to increase, we're going to decrease, we're going to kind of meet halfway. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out and where the dust settles. Next, Pentagon doubles unaccompanied tour length in South Korea. The DoD is extending unaccompanied tours. And if you guys aren't familiar with unaccompanied, it means that you travel by yourself. If you're accompanied, that means you can take your wife and your kids and that kind of stuff. So the DoD is extending unaccompanied tours for service members in the Republic of Korea to 24 months instead of 12 months, starting in October. United States Forces Korea officials stated that this change will build deeper operational expertise, foster continuity in leadership, and reduce turnover in mission-critical roles. Colonel William Parker noted that the adjustment reflects commitment to both the mission and the personnel. Man, I don't know how that's going to work. Of course, it'll provide more continuity and all that kind of stuff, but man, for the folks that would go do a quick remote tour unaccompanied and just separate themselves from their family for a year, like that was a lot more doable. And now you're starting to talk about, hey, we're going to do it for 24 months. Like that is going to be a less appealing and less appealing, but more impactful to the families and their members. So I actually don't know how well that's going to go over. Next, U.S. ramps up THAAD production after Israeli-Iran conflict. The DoD will increase production of the Thermal High Altitude Area Defense System munitions after expending about a quarter of its arsenal during the recent conflict between Israel and Iran. This depletion has raised concerns about preparedness for potential near-peer conflicts, such as against China. Vice Admiral Brad Cooper recently confirmed to lead the United States Central Command identifies magazine depth and munition stockpiles as key concerns, urging a sense of urgency. Been telling you guys for a long time now that we don't have the stockpiles that we advertise or that we think we do, or that, you know, Congress and the Senate thinks we do, because we don't. And there really is a national security issue, without a doubt. All right, next, 6-hour pistol remains in use across military after airman's death. The M18 pistol continues in wide use by the Army, Navy, and Marine Corps following the death of the airman at F.E. Warren Air Force Base in Wyoming on the 20th of July. U.S. Air Force Global Strike Command and Air Combat Command have paused M18 using pending an investigation into safety concerns. Marine Corps officials and Sig Sauer reported no evidence of design or manufacturing issues with the pistol. This is kind of interesting that the Air Force is leading this out, whereas the other services are continuing to do stuff. And maybe that's a knee-jerk reaction with the Air Force in general. Or are we going to be kind of on the right side of history? Either way, I think we're on the right side of history because we had an incident. We're pausing operational use of it for now until we can get clarification and clarifying guidance and make sure that this thing is actually safe for our airmen to use. So I support it. NTSB finds Army helicopter above altitude limit in fatal midair crash. The National Transportation Safety Board in NTSB determined that an Army helicopter involved in a fatal midair collision with a passenger jet was operating above its assigned altitude limit. Hearings are focused on military helicopter routes in Washington area, collision avoidance technology, and air traffic control training. Military aircraft continue to operate in the area without sharing location data, raising ongoing safety concerns. That is actually kind of a weird thing. That why aren't they showing their location data? I wonder what location data they're actually talking about when they say that. So, next, the Senate confirms new undersecretary. The Senate confirmed Matthew Lomer as the 29th Air Force Undersecretary on July 24th in a 52-46 vote. Lomer, a former military or a former former Space Force colonel, assumes the number 2 civilian role 4 years after his removal in command. His confirmation elevates expertise in space-related matters to the U.S. Air Force leadership. I kind of talked to you guys about this the other day, and I couldn't remember why he was removed. It was because he was on a podcast and he openly said negative things about DEI initiatives. So he was subsequently fired for that. Which is hilarious that he is now back and is the number 2. So congratulations, sir. Next, lawmakers seek extra scrutiny of missile community. Cancer concerns lawmakers have proposed legislation in the FY26 National Defense Authorization Act directing the U.S. Air Force to clean missile launch facilities following a study on cancer risks for missileers. The study indicates a slightly increased risk of cancer diagnosis characterized as low but not zero, leading to recommendations for occupational surveillance. Global Strike Command performs annual deep cleanings with the plans for thorough spring cleanings and polychlorinated biphenol. I think I actually said that right. Wow. Remediation. No, this is a good thing, and we have seen an increase in that, not just with our soft community, our missileers, and our aviators. If you guys do, let me make sure that I get this website correct, because I know it's Hunter 7 Foundation. So if you guys head over to hunter7.org, You can get tested for cancer for free. Some great people over there. We've had them on the podcast before. Definitely recommend getting checked out. Next, Skyraider II continues testing at Eglin Air Force Base. Test evaluators at Eglin Air Force Base in Florida are adopting new approaches to assess the OA-1K Skyraider II, accounting for its tail wheel feature. Completed tests include human factors, handling qualities, austere landing capabilities, and sensor quality. While weapons release testing remains underway, Major Stephen Wakefield highlighted efforts to ensure regulatory compliance and operational support for the aircraft. Guys, we wanted to have one of these crew members from the Skyraider II on the podcast, but Air Force Special Operations Command Public Affairs said no. They didn't say no to us. They said no to the member, to the captain who wanted to come on and talk about this platform. So it's not us. It's not for lack of our trying. It is public affairs at the Air Force Special Operations Command that is saying no. So we will continue to press and try and get these folks on here. But right now we're being told no. Public affairs does not like to play nice, and you guys know how much of a fan we are. And listen, Air Force Special Operations Command, Public Affairs, you have my phone number. We were friends back in the day. I don't understand why there's this negative attitude towards it, but like, whatever. C-130 flies again 5 years after hard landing, and a C-130J took off from Ramstein Air Base in Germany 5 years after a hard landing damaged several components, marking the first rehabilitation of its kind. Engineers, planners, and technicians determined that repairing the aircraft was more cost-effective than retiring it. Senior Master Sergeant Justin Jordan emphasized the project's focus on personnel grit and the belief that no aircraft is beyond saving when the mission requires it. Good job, guys. Next, U.S. Air Force completes Sentinel rocket motor test. The U.S. Air Force, in partnership with Northrop Grumman, successfully completed a full-scale qualification test of the Stage 2 solid rocket motor for the LGM-35 Alpha Sentinel intercontinental ballistic missile, or ICBM. This test advances the modernization of land-based nuclear deterrent. The effort supports ongoing development to replace the aging Minuteman III systems. All right. Satellite launch delay for missile warning. The Space Force's first satellite launch for a new medium Earth orbit missile warning constellation has slipped from late 2026 to spring of 2027 due to unproven components. Progress continues on subsequent batches to bolster early warning networks. The delay affects timelines and enhancing global surveillance. Next, X-37 Bravo spaceplane launching to test quantum sensor and laser tech. Actually, I think we talked about this the other day. This is a repeat. I'm going to move on. Okay, this is another repeat. Cancer diagnosis among military aviators. We just talked about that. hunter7.org to get your test. Let's see. Next, U.S. nuclear forces too weak against rising China-Russia alliance. A report from National Institute for Public Policy analysts warned that the United States nuclear arsenal is insufficient against growing threats from China and Russia and North Korea. The study highlights limitations from the New START Treaty, which Russia abandoned in 2020, and increased cooperation among adversaries, raising World War III risks. Authors recommend adding multiple warheads to Minuteman III and Trident ICBMs to enhance force size and flexibility for deterrence. Shocking that Russia abandoned the treaty in 2020. I wonder why 2020. I wonder if there was a change in administration during that time. Next, Ukraine arrests Air Force officer for spying on Western supplied jets. A Ukrainian Air Force major was detained on charges of leaking locations of F-16 and Mirage 2000 fighters to Russia. Security Service of Ukraine officials stated that the suspect shared coordinates, schedules, airman intelligence, and combat tactics. These aircraft are critical for bolstering Ukraine's air defense. Wouldn't want to be him. Drug cartel operatives infiltrate Ukraine for drone training. Mexico's National Intelligence Center announced that cartel members joined the foreign fighter units in Ukraine to acquire first-personal view drone capabilities. The Security Service of Ukraine is investigating Latin American and Colombian nationals in the International Legion using forged documents. An official acknowledged Ukraine's unintended role in dismantling or disseminating drone tactics globally. Interesting. Dude, the cartels are ruthless. All about getting that knowledge. It's pretty funny when you start thinking about like from a military aspect, that's what we do. We send people over to other countries and other countries send people over here to get trained. Cartels are dumb. Organized crime infiltration of Chile's security forces raises alarm. 5 Chilean airmen were detained for using their positions to coordinate drug shipments, including 4 kilograms of ketamine. Prosecutors indicated a corrupt network has operated since 2024, moving up in 10 shipments across Chile's northern border. Chile's military, good God, this is crazy. I can't even say it. Militarized approach to counter foreign criminal organizations is limited and risks further official corruption. Man, I'm amazed we even got through that. Army Secretary directs removal of former CISA director from West Point role. The Secretary of the Army directed the United States Military Academy at West Point to review hiring practices and remove a former cybersecurity infrastructure security agency director from a role. This action follows concerns about the appointment. The review aims to ensure appropriate processes. Next, Navy suspends search for missing USS George Washington sailor. The United States Navy suspended search for a sailor missing in the USS George Washington. Extensive efforts involved multiple assets but yielded no results. The decision follows standard protocols after thorough operations. I hadn't heard about this, so I don't know any details about it on whether he fell off or whether they were doing an operation, but in any case, that's a real crappy situation. Next, Senate confirmed Sam Brown to lead VA Memorial Affairs. After a delay, the Senate confirmed Sam Brown, a veteran, to lead the Department of Veterans Affairs Memorial Affairs. Brown founded a firm providing medicines to veterans. His confirmation addresses leadership and veteran memorial services. Next, Swedish man guilty of war crimes for ISIS murder of Jordanian pilot. A Swedish man was convicted on serious war crimes and terrorism for his role in the 2014 murder of the Jordanian Air Force pilot by burning, captured by ISIS in Syria. The pilot was executed in a video released by the group. The verdict addresses accountability for international atrocities. I'll tell you what, that was an insane video. I do not recommend going and finding the video if it's even out there, because it was pretty terrible to watch. That is one that definitely I remember vividly. So anyway, appreciate you guys being here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave us a review. Go check out onesready.com. We've got merch over there. Make Aspect War great again. And that's what we want. All right. See you.